I'm Hara Allison, and this is Dream Anyway, a podcast for those of us who feel the pull to create, even when the path isn't clear. So wherever you are in your journey, grab a coffee, get comfy, and dream anyway.
I am Summerlyn Feckner. I am an interior designer here in Spokane, Washington. I am a mom of two amazing littles and a wife to a phenomenal husband.
How long have you been an interior decorator? You're an interior designer or decorator?
Designer.
And that's a big difference.
Big difference. Yep. So designers have degrees. We have to get schooling. Decorators do not. There's a little bit of mixedness with the degrees. In different states, you don't always have to have a degree. And that's kind of why we get washed in with decorators. Designers can do technical things. We can call out walls to take down. We can draw elevations. We talk about plumbing locations, electrical locations. We do all of the construction on-site visits with each trade. Whereas a decorator is doing soft goods, pillows, furniture. We can still do all of those things as well, but we have much more underneath our belt.
Where did you go to school?
I went to Spokane Falls. I started off just I knew I needed to go to college by my parents and my grandparents telling me. I started off getting my AA in communications, and about a couple of weeks before I graduated with that, I was like, gosh, what am I really going to do with this? And I found out they had an interior design program. So I was like, well, I'll give it a shot. If I don't love it, it's not terribly expensive, and we'll go from there. I loved it. And so I kept going. I worked my way through college, and you can go on to WSU for a 4-year commercial degree. I didn't want to do commercial. I wanted to do residential. And so I was like, well, I'll see what a community college degree gets me. And so I was hired at my first design firm a couple months before I graduated. And then from there, I just kind of took off. I was their first designer that they had brought on. And I was then head of design. I had 3 people underneath me when I left. And then I started Ginger.
And that's the name of your company?
Ginger Designs.
What made you bold enough to think you could go on your own?
My husband. He has a masonry business. He's been on his own for about 11 years now. And he just kept saying, you can do it. Like, this is what you're supposed to do. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I had my dream job. And he was like, no, you need to go do your own thing. And when I left my last job, there was a little bit of emotions tied to it. And so my plan was to actually leave the industry. And he just kept saying, that's not what you're going to do. So it took about 3 months for me to realize that wasn't what I was going to do. And I started my business, and she turns 5 in September.
Oh, very exciting.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have an ideal client?
Yes and no. Obviously, I always want to be creative. That's my industry, and that's just where I thrive. And while I could say, yes, my ideal client is the one that allows me to be the most creative, I've also had my ideal client be the one that just trusts me with everything. And as an interior designer, and where we kind of fit in the process between the architect and the contractor, we get really, really close to our clients. We are talking financially close. We're talking personally close. Like, I'm asking you questions about what you do in the bathroom and where you sleep and all of these things that become really, really personal. And then on top of that, I'm typically seeing you 1 to 2 times a week, if not more, if not less. So now I'm getting all of the information about your family and the birthday parties or the funeral that you went to. Like, they get really, really personal. And so those clients are also my favorite.
Doing this podcast, I usually learn things about people that I would never have known.
Yeah.
And doing photography is the same thing. Like, I feel like I've revealed things about them. And when I'm editing their photos, I see everything. But then I feel a closeness, but then it doesn't last. Do you ever feel
the breakup?
That? There's a breakup.
The breakup's so rough. Oh my goodness. It's so rough. I have clients that we have a connection still, where that's social media or, they constantly reach out when they're ready to do the next piece of their home. But most of them lead to like, okay, now the house is done and there's really nothing left for me. And that's the hardest part, is because you get so personal. And, some of my designs are months and months and months. I just wrapped up a custom build that was a 3-year-long project. That was very personal.
Yeah.
And so, the breakup is hard.
Yeah, it was a surprise the first time. Like, I was like, oh my God, all these people are my besties. You know, nobody said so. I know them so well. Of course, you know, we love each other now. And that's not to say we don't still love each other, it's just that we don't hang out. And it's an interesting feeling that I hadn't anticipated. Is there anything that you want people to know about being a designer that you think they don't know?
Oh gosh, that's design as a whole. And it goes back to that decorator thing.
I feel that I'm a graphic designer for 30 years and I keep having people say, well, I love Canva. And I'm like, well, okay, but I don't use Canva. They think Canva makes them a designer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, my new favorite is, well, AI told me. And I was like, oh gosh, no. It's good for some things.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's good for everything.
So people are saying that to you, oh, I can do that because I have AI.
Yeah, that's my newest is like, oh, well, AI told me to do this. And I was like, well, AI doesn't also have the entire house details like I have. AI doesn't have all of the conversations and backing that we've had for the last 6 months.
Yeah.
So yes, AI is telling you to do a hemlock door, but maybe we shouldn't do that.
Well, have you ever had to design something that is so not your taste?
Yes.
And how does that go?
It's definitely appreciating all styles. As long as something is done right, it can be beautiful. And so, there's a lot of things that aren't my style and I can appreciate them. And sometimes blue, for the longest time, I could not stand blue. And it was in that phase, probably why I couldn't stand blue. It was in the phase where everybody was doing blue. We were doing blue islands, blue uppers, blue everything. And I was like, gosh, if I see one more blue anything. And now I have a very, very deep love for blue. And I think it's because I've now seen it done so many times intentionally instead of trendy. And that's where that shift kind of pivoted for me.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's it like with your little one at home? Do you think there's any, I don't even know anymore. I'm 58. So is there any kind of backlash about being a working mom with a baby?
I don't have any backlash from other people. The backlash definitely comes from myself.
Oh, yeah.
And, we just got back from vacation and we didn't take the kids and me and my husband, and we got back and I had this feeling of like, do I need to live a simpler life so that I can spend more time with the kids? Like, am I missing all of these things that's going on in their life right now? And well, yes, I'm missing some things. I'm also living my life and my one and only life. And so at the end of the day, I might miss a bedtime or a first word or those smaller milestones. I'm not missing the larger milestones. I'm not missing birthdays. I'm not missing games. I'm not missing those big pieces of life. And I'm also getting to live my life.
Yeah, I appreciate that we're living out loud because life is very short.
Yeah.
My mom used to say that she would paint when she retired. She was a fine artist, but she had 6 kids.
Okay.
And so she didn't paint because she had 6 kids.
Yeah.
And she died at 46. And that sticks with me, that don't wait till you're going to retire, because what if you don't retire? I mean, I've never assumed I'm going to retire.
Yeah, no, I mean, you just live for today. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a person I listen to, Byron Katie. She's like, everything thinking about in the future and everything you think about in the past, it's a movie in your head.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's absolutely real is this second, and then this second, and then this second. You had your husband. Is there anything you think somebody should do or can think about to pursue their dreams that doesn't have a support like your husband?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Whether you have support or you don't have support, it's hard. It's not easy. And you have to be your biggest cheerleader. You are the only one that knows what's going on in that brain all the time. And you are the only one that's creating the self-doubt or the winning. And so as long as you're in charge of that, you can do it.
Yeah.
But you have to be ready for all of the hardships that get thrown your way. It's a beautiful, chaotic storm all the time.
And some of us are built for it. Some of us thrive.
I often get manic tied to me a little bit, and it's like manic in the best way. But I'm always like, okay, so where else could we take this? What else can we do? I don't want to stop at the shell. I want to break through it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
How'd you find your partner?
My business partner. We actually worked together at our previous company. There was a group of us that we became instantly connected. We still do girls' weekend every year. Like they're my solid core. And Meredith was one of those. And Meredith left the company a couple months after I did. And then I ended up getting pregnant. And I knew all along, and Ginger would have been probably 2 years old by then. So I knew all along that I could not hold ownership conversations with employees and expect the same level of magnitude to go behind it.
Yeah.
And so I wanted somebody that I could have on the team with me that could help me make those decisions because I didn't want to do it alone. And Meredith and I had talked a couple times about what that might look like. And we had kind of tickled the idea of her starting her own and just different things that went about it. And we were on a trip. We were on a trip to Seattle and we had talked about the idea of her coming on as an employee. And so she actually came on as an employee a couple weeks later. And then we had made the decision that we knew that's what we wanted and we wanted it to look a certain way. And so she became partner a couple months later. Yeah.
Do you ever have a conflict of interest? I mean, like, or of how things should be done?
Yeah. Meredith and I are two totally different people in vastly different ways, but we're also a lot alike. And we have learned to have incredibly tough conversations. And we face them head on. We don't beat around the bush. We don't sweep them under the rug. We have really, really hard conversations. And, you know, sometimes we get frustrated and then we cry and then we hold hands and we are both equally invested in this company and we both want pretty similar things. It might not look the exact same way to get where we want. And we're pretty in tune with one another.
Yeah.
So if I'm feeling defeated, most of the time she's also feeling defeated. And so it's not like it's coming from a place of surprise when we talk about, oh my gosh, this business is taking everything out of me. It's like, yeah, girl, same. So I'm a fan of hard conversations. Yeah. I think they're so good. I mean, they're what keep human interaction going.
And also, then you're that much closer. Is there something you would tell your 12-year-old self?
To just do it. And that no goal is too big. And that at the end of the day, it's all going to be okay. It's hard and it's a lot of work, but whatever you do, it's all going to be okay. And to just put the right people in your corner. My biggest thing for my family and our kids is to never sit at a table where you're not welcome. And we use that motto so heavily in our household. And that I truly believe is the reason why we have such a good community and support system. And that is the reason why I've been able to get where I am.
Thanks for listening.